Hello and welcome back, friends. Today I am sharing how I was inspired to do this artwork, and I'll be updating you a little on last week. Now, this artwork is part of a 31-piece challenge, a challenge I am still working on. I've completed 18 or so of these so far. Before diving into this piece, or even the first piece in this whole series, I used Nicholas Tower's Obscutober prompt list. It is full of really obscure words and very intangible concepts, which made it a fun challenge. For the most part, I completed all my sketches beforehand, and my process for that was picking a reference image with an interesting pose, and I'd work from the reference in order to get fairly accurate proportions, and from that, I would look over the prompt list. At that point, the sketch was a very general just pose, didn't have super refined features, didn't have any other elements. And so I would consider which word on the prompt list would best fit the pose and what other elements I wanted to add into the sketch. So all the sketches were done out of order from the prompts. When I started the sketch for today's piece, day four's prompt popped out at me. The word was agonal, which means preceding death or just before death. Kind of a gruesome word, really, and I don't do much gruesomeness in my art, but I did have another idea. I had sketched her hand near her mouth, and I realized it would be perfect to have some kind of poisonous berries or something. And following that train of thought, I realized that totally fits Juliet from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Spoilers, she dies at the end. Can you spoil something several hundred years old? Maybe. Now, I don't think I've talked about this on the channel, but though I majored in psychology in college, I took quite a few theater classes, and I did a study abroad to England. So studying Shakespeare is a topic very close to my heart. I also performed in a few shows with the local grassroots Shakespeare company, and it was so much work and so much fun. Tangent, so producing this art channel is actually really fulfilling for me. It's like I get to be the director, script writer, and voice actor all in one. And I get to share a hobby I'm really passionate about, that being art. Anyways, something with this piece just clicked when I decided to make it fit the prompt agonal. I loved doing the line work for this. I was finally getting a little bit more comfortable with the Pentel pocket brush pen, though I still hold by the opinion that it's a very difficult brush pen to use, especially for a beginner. I need to be so careful in order to control the line width and work on having a steady hand. At the same time that I was becoming more comfortable with that, I also started becoming less precious about each and every line I was doing. This was the fourth piece of Obscutober, and that meant the newness of the challenge was wearing off, and the sense of work and get it done and move on was setting in. And maybe that sounds really unromantic for an artist to be so detached from their work, but for me, that get it done and move on mentality is a place where I thrive. That's where I start learning, where I find out what automatic technical habits I have, good and bad, or just what I'm lacking, and I strive to improve. After doing the line work, I felt brave enough to try a big, dark gradient wash over the background. I'd never done an ink wash that size before, and going in that dark that fast was something I had very little practice with, so it was intimidating. But because I was less attached to the piece, I felt willing to try it and risk it. I love how the background wash turned out and how it made the composition come together. Adding the pops of gold and red to the berries she's holding at the end was really enjoyable, dare I say delightful. I'm considering making a print of this one since it's one of my favorites I've made so far. I'm thinking about some hand-embellished metallic accents on the prints or something, so let me know in the comments if you have any interest in that. So that's a little bit about how this piece came together. This last week, I started reading Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson, and oh my goodness, I forgot how fun the Skyward series is. It's a sci-fi adventure, and the main character cracks me up. She's just got this, I don't want to spoil anything. Go read Skyward is the first book. It's so fun. And as I'm reading the Cytonic right now, I can tell that in classic Brando Sando fashion, everything is leading up to some crazy reveal, and I would maybe rather be reading that than voice recording right now, but that's okay. Anyways, I am stoked about having pumpkin pie pretty soon. I made it last night. Today is Thanksgiving, as I'm recording this. Thanksgiving morning, voice recording. It's what I'm doing. It's great. Honestly, voice recording feels like a time I get to, like I said, indulge in some of those theater and acting things that I love so much, and it's kind of a moment on my own, which is nice. Thank you for listening to me ramble about art. And yeah, I'm gonna sign off now and hope you all are having a wonderful weekend. Goodbye!